Hark! Rest your eyes, ye who dare to gaze upon this magical and noisy box. Yes, you, creature of the future, who presses buttons like a nervous goldsmith polishing coins. I salute you, for you are, by destiny's design, or some digital demon, a spectator of my most astonished testimony. Allow me to introduce myself. Sir William Shakespeare, poet, playwright, and, as they call it nowadays, an accidental Renaissance influencer by genius and vocation. If you hear these words, it is because some sorcerer of your time has summoned my spirit to comment on one of the most bizarre creations of the modern world. Ladies and gentlemen, today we shall speak of this ethereal entity called YouTube. Oh, heavens and muses, what kind of infinite tavern is this, where every madman has a stage, but no one sweeps the floor? An inn without a master, where bards, jesters, makeup alchemists, and knights of unboxings display their feats before invisible crowds, clamoring for attention. Yes, attention, the new gold of your time. For by my honor, never in the history of any fiefdom or kingdom has such effort been seen for something so intangible. In days past, men dueled for lands, castles, or ladies, and now they duel for subscriptions, which are not noble titles, but clicks. Clicks, a currency that doesn't even jingle. And speaking of clicks, if you'll indulge me in a brief commercial aside amid my musings, subscribe to this channel by St. Genesius, patron of comedians, for each new follower spares me from returning to the limbo where cultured souls are forced to watch tutorials on how to make bread with 12 secret ingredients in eternal silence. Now tell me, how can a child of 8 winters command a channel with more followers than an entire army? And why, in the name of all dead kings, are people watching others eat? Eating as a spectacle. In my day, this would be a feast or a torture, never art. But despair not yet, for throughout this tale, I, William, shall guide you through the labyrinths of YouTube, much like Virgil guiding Dante, but with less inferno and more passive-aggressive comments. We shall visit the stages of kings, the so-called influencers, and the court jesters who scream into boxes to sell electric toothbrushes. We shall speak of algorithms, which sound like ancient gods, but are merely invisible bureaucrats with questionable taste. And perhaps, in the end, we shall find meaning in this pixelated madness, or, at the very least, a good laugh. Prepare your minds, fasten your belts, and click subscribe, lest some 14-year-old YouTuber surpass you in wisdom and fortune. Now, let us proceed, for the spectacle begins, and as the theater itself once said, the world is a stage, and YouTube a circus without a tent. Oh, sweet irony. In my time, the throne was reserved for those of blue blood, or those who wielded a sword with skill and poetry with passion. Today, the throne is a ring light, the sword a microphone, and poetry? Oh, poetry lies suffocated between 2 ads for laser hair removal. Allow me to present the new monarchs of your strange kingdom, the influencers. Beings of flesh, bone, and filters. Self-proclaimed nobles who rise at noon, comb their hair as if they were Narcissus reincarnate, and declare with valor, "Hello, channel folks! Today we're testing 25 types of breakfast cereal." What an epic, my Zeus! Influencers. These alchemists of attention who can transform any trivial object into a sacred relic. A hairbrush? Incredible, revolutionary, life-changing. A pair of earphones? I heard the voices of my ancestors. A water bottle?
I bought it for its minimalistic design. Minimalist, you say? It's round and wet like any canteen since the Greeks. But do not think this noble rank is easily attained. No, no. To be an influencer, one must possess rare gifts, a presenter's voice, the patience of a Tibetan monk to edit videos, and, of course, an unshakable faith that your opinions on detox juice matter to all of Christendom. By Apollo, these new kings have no castles, but studios in their basements. They have no servants, but loyal followers who, astonishingly, comment things like, "First to comment, love you." In my day, such a phrase would lead to immediate exile, or, at the very least, a sharp slap with a velvet glove. But beware. These modern monarchs are fragile as Venetian glass. A single cruel comment fells them. A dislike afflicts them like the bubonic plague. And then they weep before millions, saying, "I need some time offline." Oh, frail nobles. In my time, those needing offline time were burned at the stake for heresy. Today, they simply uninstall the app. And yet, the masses clamor for more. Like subjects of an enchanted realm, they follow their leaders' every step. What they eat, what they wear, how they wake. Our people went to Mass, yours watch morning vlogs. But let us not only criticize, let us be grateful. For thanks to these influencers, humanity now knows how to fry an egg in 47 different styles and make a bed with Asian hotel techniques. Oh, gods of fleeting glory! What world is this where fame is measured by views and wisdom by emoji-filled comments? Follow me, for our next stop in this digital odyssey will reveal something even more mystical: the algorithms. Those invisible creatures that decide with the subtlety of an inquisitor who shall be king and who shall be cast into the abyss of oblivion. But remember, before you continue this feast of mockery, like this video, or I swear by Plato's ghost that I'll return with a tutorial on how to make medieval rat soup in 12 steps. Onward, with logic and sarcasm.
Oh, the algorithm. A word so ugly it seems a plague, yet so powerful it makes even the boldest YouTuber with 1,000 subscribers and no dignity tremble. What is this so-called algorithm, you ask, curious spectator? Why, it is a faceless oracle, a soulless inquisitor, a mathematical demon dwelling in the bowels of YouTube, deciding with icy precision who shall be crowned and who shall be cast into the dungeon of irrelevance. In my time, judgments were made by men, foolish, corrupt, but human. Today, you are judged by an entity that calculates how long you blink during a video, and based on that, decides if you deserve more of the same. Watched a video on how to make bread? The algorithm, perfect! I shall flood your soul with 187 more videos on natural fermentation. Clicked by mistake on a kitten video? The algorithm, it is decided. This soul is a feline lover. Bring on the surfing cats. But do not think you can negotiate with this creature. No tribute, no sacrifice, no well-recited poem can sway it. It feeds on retention rates, gets drunk on click-through rates, and dances naked around a bonfire of data while chanting in binary. And the poor content creators, oh, those arena artists, they live in constant panic, staring at graphs like desperate astrologers, trying to understand why their 42-minute video on how to clean your horse's ear didn't go viral. Perhaps because even the horse doesn't care. Then come the gurus, digital turbaned prophets, proclaiming, use keywords, post on Tuesdays, make thumbnails with open mouths and wide eyes. Yes, of course. In my time, bards also opened their mouths and widened their eyes to sell tickets to Hamlet.
Spoiler, it didn't work. The tragedy, my dears, is that many try to please the algorithm as if it were a lady of noble lineage. But the algorithm is more fickle than any queen I've ever known. Today it wants short videos, tomorrow it demands 9-hour live streams, and then it wants silence. And then it punishes you with reduced reach. Know what that means? It means you, wretched content creator, have been banished from the kingdom without anyone noticing. You're there, posting with fervor, but only your mother sees, and even she doesn't watch to the end. Oh, generation of analytical anxiety! No one creates for pleasure anymore. All create in fear. Fear of underperforming. Fear of falling into the shadows of the shadow ban. In my time, we feared Turks, the plague, and botching Latin at Mass. Now you fear below-average engagement. But calm yourselves, afflicted souls, for the next act of this epic will show you one of YouTube's most mysterious temples, the comment section. Yes, that dark and deep pit where anonymous philosophers, mythical trolls, and people who write first with pride reside. But before, if this video hasn't yet caused a mild existential crisis, prove your loyalty. Like, comment, and share, for the algorithm watches, always.
Ah, the comments section. If the video is the spectacle, the comments are the alley behind the theater, where drunks, poets, and visionaries murmur truths and delusions in equal measure. In my Elizabethan era, the plebeians shouted during the play. They threw tomatoes, whistled, declared their hatred for Romeo as if he were their next-door neighbor. Today, the masses don't throw tomatoes. They hurl passive-aggressive texts and GIFs. So many GIFs. The comments section is the only place in the world where you can see, in a single timeline, a lady asking for a lasagna recipe, a youth accusing the creator of being sold to the system, an anonymous philosopher musing on life with spelling errors and fire emojis. It's the people's pulpit, the digital agora. Except instead of Socrates, we have Gamer Loco 666 shouting that the video delivered nothing. Delivered nothing, good man. Wasn't it a video about dancing penguins? And there, mixed like ingredients in a poorly made potion, are the false prophets of spam, offering shady links with promises of wealth and enhancement of things unmentionable in prime time. There are also commenters who say, "Anyone in 2025?" as if they've unearthed an Egyptian ruin and need confirmation. The faint of heart should not venture into this jungle, for the comments can lift you to the heavens with praises like genius, and, right below, drag you to hell with, "This channel is dead, what a shame." The comment section is like a tavern at closing time, chaotic, noisy, and where everyone is right, especially the drunkards. And there are creators who dive in, responding with hope. Thanks for the love. Grateful for the support. Haters gonna hate. But after a while, oh, they learn. They learn not to reply to those who write in all caps with 6 question marks and a veiled threat of unsubscribing. Curious, no? In the past, kings and queens feared revolts. Today, YouTubers tremble at the notification, "New comment on your video." And yet, amidst all this chaos, there is beauty. Among the absurdities and trolls, words emerge that touch the heart. People saying, "This video saved my day," or "I laughed so hard I woke the cat." Yes, there is poetry in the chaos, and as a good playwright, I recognize it. But don't drown yet, for in the next act, we shall visit the most peculiar inhabitants of YouTube, the influencers, those mystical creatures who live off content but seem perpetually on vacation. And you, O digital traveler, if you have not yet done what is just and necessary, subscribe, like, and comment,
be it with a first, a top, or even a Shakespeare lives. For your presence, though virtual, is more precious than Eldorado's gold.
Ah, the influencers, modern creatures who shine like stars, not by their own light, but by the LED ring that surrounds them. In my era, influencers were nobles, priests, or kings who'd have your head if you disagreed with their ideas. Today, they are youths who dance with the zeal of a druidic ritual and, mid-step, sell you a cream that changed their lives. How do you explain to me, a humble 17th century bard, that there's a trade where gold is earned simply by showing one's breakfast? Here I am, with my gluten-free bread, my decaf coffee, and my problem-free life. Use my coupon, buy my honor. Influencers live in an alternate reality. They're always in amazing projects, racing against time, and working hard, while sitting with beautifying filters that would make even Queen Elizabeth look like a nymph. Some speak of motivation. Wake up at 5 a.m., meditate, run, read a book, write another, drink 12 liters of water, invest in real estate, and maybe you'll reach where I've reached. And I think, by Zeus, is this person trying to become a demigod? Others, even more enlightened, give relationship advice, despite being single since Nebuchadnezzar's reign. Here are 7 tips for a healthy relationship. 7? In my time, 1 sufficed. Don't die in a duel. And let's not forget those who live by lifestyle. What lifestyle is this, I ask, where every corner has a camera, every bite a sponsor, and every opinion is followed by, "This video is not financial advice"? Yes, influencers are the new oracles, but instead of prophesying Troy's fall, they predict that this new Bluetooth earphone will change everything. I don't blame them. They are products of their time, as court jesters were of mine. The difference? Jesters knew they were jesting. Today, not all are aware. And there are those who cry on camera, not for grief, but for failing to meet engagement goals. Guys, I'm so emotional. This partnership with an artisanal juice brand means so much to me. And the people applaud, for everything is content. Even tears have become emotional capital. But beware, O traveler of the feed, for not all that glitters is influence. Some sell authenticity in edited packages. And some say, just be yourself, while applying 14 filters and doing 7 takes of the same line. Let us move on, for in the next act we shall revisit the mystical algorithms, invisible gods that decide who rises and who vanishes like digital dust. And you, who are still with me in this modern play, do as good vassals do. Like, subscribe, and comment with fervor, or I swear by the ancient gods that I'll send the spirits of recommended videos to haunt you eternally. The algorithm, that mysterious, ethereal, omnipotent entity, the true sovereign of this kingdom called YouTube. Not even King Lear knew such tyranny, nor did Macbeth devise so impenetrable a plot. In my era, we had oracles, auguries, and the occasional yawn from the audience as direct feedback on my work. Today, there's an invisible force that decides whether your creation will be celebrated or cast into the dungeon of digital oblivion. They say the algorithm rewards consistency. Nonsense. I've seen mortals post once a month and reap millions, while others, editing videos like 4th century copyist monks, don't even reach their own grandmother. The algorithm is a capricious god. Sometimes it loves videos of 9 minutes and 59 seconds. The next day, it demands 12 minutes and 3 seconds. And if you dare utter the wrong word, zap, you're banned. Or worse, demonetized. Yes, demonetized, a punishment worse than exile. Imagine creating an entire video with sweat, effort, and tears, only to hear this content is not suitable for all advertisers.
Why, not even the bubonic plague was as feared as this yellow warning. And what does it take to please the algorithm? Be relevant, but not pushy. Creative, but within trends. Authentic, yet strategically planned. In short, be a unicorn dancing on the edge of convenience's blade. The algorithm is like a drunken theater director. It praises your play, claps with enthusiasm, and the next moment cancels the season because your thumbnail didn't smile enough. Some channels the algorithm elevates like gods, only to forget them the next month. And some sacrifice time, sanity, and even family at the altar of engagement, all to feed this digital titan that never sleeps. If YouTube were a kingdom, the algorithm would be the royal advisor, whispering in the throne's ear, deciding who lives and who falls into the oblivion of unrecommended videos. Oh, what delicious irony. Creators trying to understand the algorithm like astrologers deciphering the stars, while the creature reinvents itself daily like a chameleon in an identity crisis. But do not despair, O being of the present, for though this specter decides who is seen, who is heard, who is remembered, it cannot yet write with the heart, and in that the human soul triumphs. For now. And by my pen, which never trembled before a tyrant king or a theater critic, I say to you, if you enjoyed this act, leave your like, subscribe like a good apprentice, and comment with your most eccentric analogy. For who knows, the algorithm might hear you, or at least ignore you with dignity.
And so, noble souls of the future, we reach the final act of this glorious farce called YouTube. A theater where all perform, but few admit they're acting. What a grand pantomime this is. A place where one dances for invisible cameras, smiles for distant strangers, and suffers over statistics that shift faster than alliances in ancient Rome. YouTube, this 21st century agora, where philosophers, jesters, beauty alchemists, and magical pillow salesmen share the same stage. Oh, how many tragedies with titles in all caps! How many accidental comedies filmed by chance? How many tutorials promising to change your life in 5 minutes, but in truth only teach you to fold a t-shirt with Japanese precision? For my part, I confess myself both amazed and terrified. Amazed because, by all the gods of my time, I never imagined a peasant could become a star with just a phone and a foolish idea. And terrified because nearly all the ideas that prosper are indeed foolish. And the audience? Oh, the audience. In the past, we needed goblets of wine, candlelight, and cushioned seats to entertain them. Today, a thumbnail with wide eyes and the word shocking suffices. But even with all this pantomime, there is beauty, yes. For YouTube is, in the end, a digital mirror. A great mirror reflecting the human soul, with a puppy filter on top. And to you, spectator who has journeyed this far, by Hercules, you are worthy of applause. For in this era where everything vies for your attention, you chose to hear an old Renaissance bard philosophize about this land of bits and bytes. Allow me then one final piece of advice from one who has written kings and fools, heroes and traitors, dreamers and scoundrels. In the end, we are all characters, but the best are those who know they're acting. Now, O noble and curious spirit, do your part in this stage of fools. Like this video with the enthusiasm of a peasant seeing bread for the first time. Comment with the wisdom of a drunken oracle. And share with your kin, for good content is like the plague, it must spread quickly. I bid you farewell, not with a goodbye, but with an invitation. Return always to this channel where the madness of the present will ever be explained by a lunatic from the past.